Hi, I'm Heidi Rinkus with this edition of the Western Pennsylvania Outdoor Guide. Listen to the show we've lined up for you today as we investigate what happens when the imaginative sportsman sets out to improve, or at the very least, alter his favorite sport. We'll travel first to Greensburg to meet an inventive fisherman whose product has caught on so fast it's now being distributed nationwide. We'll then go fishing with him on the Loyalhanna Creek to find out if that product is actually worth the attention it's now getting. And finally, it's over to Hidden Valley, where it's not so much the innovative product, but rather the innovative game that's giving new meaning to the phrase spring skiing. All this and more when we return with the Western Pennsylvania Outdoor Guide.
The Fishing Post is the place to go for all your fly fishing needs. Located at 114 North Main Street in Greensburg, just a half a block from the Westmoreland County Courthouse. The Fishing Post has the largest selection of fly tying materials in Western Pennsylvania, featuring products by Orvis. They've got over 200 books and videos on fly tying and fly fishing on hand. They even have professionally instructed fly tying classes. Call the Fishing Post at 412-832-8383.
Today we begin our show with Pete's Corner, a regular segment that features our own Pete Maltese as he tracks down local master craftsmen at work in their own environments. Today the master craftsman is Tom Pellis, co-owner of the Fishing Post in Greensburg, and his craft is making flies. His rise to prominence comes about as the result of an invention that he claims came about purely by accident.
Welcome once again to another segment of Pete's Corner. Tonight we're in Greensburg at the Fishing Post, and to tell you a little bit about the Fishing Post and what they do is Tom Pellis. Tom, what do you actually do here?
Oh, well, Pete, our store is strictly here with fly fishing, and in just about all aspects of it. We sell, of course, everything you need, from flies to the rods to the boots. We also have all the materials you need to tie flies, which we can show you in a little bit. We teach classes. We have a fly tying class going on right now, which we'll show you in a little bit. We'll go in and take a look at what they're doing. We teach 3 of those a week. We have about 10 students in a class. And when we're done with them, it lasts for about 7 weeks. So when we're done with them, they're pretty good tiers. They know how to tie basically all the flies.
All kinds of flies.
All kinds of flies.
You just don't stick to one type pattern?
We start them out with like a streamer, which is an easy one to tie, and then we progress them into the harder flies. Tonight is their 4th week, so it's their 4th class, and tonight they're doing dry flies.
And this is just as good for men or women?
Oh yeah, in fact we have a lady back here right now taking
Can kids do this also?
Kids, from about 11 years old up is pretty good. They should take it.
So it's not that difficult and just about anybody can do it?
Not at all. It's actually, once you have the proper instruction, you'll be amazed at how easy it is. I really feel that anybody that has enough interest in it can do it. When I first started to fly fish, well, I don't want to tell you how many years ago that was, but, I would see dry flies and wonder, how did they get all those little fibers on there, and I could never do it. But then once I saw it done, and I tried it, and I said, by golly, I can learn this, and I did, and here we are with this story.
The problem I've always had is, how do you know when to use a dry fly and when to use a wet fly?
Okay, there are so many different kinds of flies. You start out with a nymph that is fished underneath the water. You have wet flies, which are fished partway up.
Yeah, but when do you know how to use each one? I mean, is there a certain time of year you use one type of fly, dry fly
yes
compared to a wet
yes
fly?
and no. The dries, generally you use them when you see a hatch. You can actually see the flies. You may see a caddisfly, or you might see a mayfly. And if you see them, can identify them properly, and try to rising to them, or you can just have a field day and catch 60, 70 fish a day if you have the right fly.
Every so often on TV, I seen a guy that sees a hatch and he goes on the bank and he starts tying. Is that realistic?
Oh, yes, I've done
Is
that.
it?
Oh, yeah, I've done that several times when I found that I didn't have the flies, or I actually ran out of that fly on the stream. So I'd go to my vehicle and tie up a couple flies. It's done quite often.
That always amazed me that they can do that. I probably could never do it.
You can, if you know how to tie and you've identified the fly properly, then you have no problems. And it's not always trying to match the hatch that's there. You say, how do you know when to use what fly? Well, like nymphs are fished underneath the water. That's when the fly is in a nymphal stage. He's just growing up. He's going to hatch out of that water and become that dry fly. So you're fishing down there, and 90% of what the trout eat is on the bottom. 90%. So if you're a good nymph fisherman, you're going to catch more trout underneath than you are on top. See, most people think that fly fishing is dry fly fishing. They think you're fishing on top. Well, that's not true. I can go out in the middle of the winter and catch trout underneath. Not as many naturally as in the warm weather because their metabolism is down in the cold water. So you're not going to catch as many, but you can still catch them.
Well, I hope in the future you're going to take us out and show us how to use them.
Well, we're going to tie a fly, my own special fly, and then we'll go out and we'll see
Let me
if
get
it
into
works.
that a little bit. Tom has a fly that's in the magazines and is his own creation. It's called a Pellis fly. And tonight we're going to have him show us how to tie that fly. And in a future segment, we are going to have him take us out and use that fly and hopefully catch some trout with it.
You have my guarantee we'll catch trout with it.
Well, you heard that. I'm happy.
Fishermen do tell lies.
Yeah, I know they do, and I'm awful happy to hear that because I didn't want to say that, but I'm glad you did. Okay, Tom, show us how to tie that Pellis fly now.
Okay, Pete. This fly I'm going to tie, we call it the Pellis muskrat. It's a fly I developed quite a few years ago just by accident, and it became a very good fly. It catches a lot of fish.
How do you tie a fly by accident?
It's just something I was experimenting with different materials, trying to come up with something new, and came up. It's just an unorthodox pattern, and I ended up taking it out the first day of trout season, which was the following day, and I caught 17 trout on it that day. Of course, they were released now. We didn't kill 17. So I don't know if you want me to go into a lot of instructions here, Pete.
No, just generalities.
But of course, by wrapping the thread over itself, it's how you fasten it to the hook. And of course, you always cut off any excess. And what I'm going to do here is put a tail on. And all the tail is, this is very few materials on this fly. It is a brown hackle barbels.
Then cut off this piece. What are you doing? What? I can't find the... Tie this.
And you can see just wrap them on.
They're too long?
Now I'm going to tie on a feather that I'm going to use for ribbing up this fly. I'll bring it up over the fly later, but I have to get it on there now.
Set them up here. You really want it to be in front of the eye.
Now the body of this fly is made from muskrat fur, which I have a patch up here.
Right there.
Of course, I will use very little of it on this fly.
Hold them back here. Huh? You tie them from here. You get your distance from there.
This is
Take your thumbnail and
a
point
wax
this hand.
that we have here that helps this dubbing stick
Hold on to the hook end.
to the thread.
Right.
Now, you don't want to take much dubbing at a time, and all you do is twist it, if you can see, onto the thread.
And that wax holds it, huh?
And that wax helps hold it on there.
Now bring them up.
Muskrat fur is very, very soft fur, and it'll take quite a bit to build up a body on this.
I gotta get through that over the
And I'm twisting always in the same direction. I'm not going back and forth. I'm going in the same, always in the same direction. Now you start in the back, and you make sure that you cover all those threads, everything that you tied, where you tied anything in. And then now we just have to build up a body.
Oh, I see.
And we want a tapered body so it starts getting fatter as it goes towards the front. All right, I just about have this body built up. As you
I
can
see,
see,
yeah.
it's fatter in the back, or in the front, and narrower towards the back. Now, what I'm doing right now is closing the gap. There's a gap with that eye,
Okay.
so so I'm closing that up with thread. Now we bring this hackle that I tied on before, we use as ribbing, and just space turns come up this fly. And you can see it is segmenting the body.
It makes it like a fuzzy body.
Yeah. Now a little part of the trick to this, though, is the fact that I'm going to trim that down.
Hold on to this. Come on. Hey, look at that. It stands up.
I'm going to throw a half hitch on here so I don't lose that.
All right, now you split them. Yeah, that's what we need to turn the face.
That little move is putting a knot in there. Now I give this thing a haircut. And I just cut a lot of that off.
Isn't the more fuzz you got on it, the better it is?
Well, in this particular fly, for some reason, this is what I did when I designed this pattern, and it really works.
Not at the end of the tail, before you tied it in.
Now we add a hackle up front,
She never liked
which you want soft hackle. You don't want to use dry fly quality. You want something soft, so you want a poor quality hackle. Right. Tie that in up front here.
First, then you get behind it? No. Come on, hold on to these. With your right hand. Now you get. Then wrap thread behind it, make that little dam behind it.
And of course, what this fly I'm tying is a nymph. It's for fishing underneath the water, and generally works early part of the year. Is an opening day, and that early trout season is the best time to use this.
What's that thing? What are you doing with
This is a hackle plier. There are quite a few on the market. This particular one has good holding power. It really holds that hackle. And you make a few wraps around there.
All right, I see. That makes the front of it,
Right. Well, that's to what you see there is to simulate legs. So this is a whip finisher, and what I'm doing is putting a finished knot on here.
See, here's where you're making a mistake. Get over there. Get this tail in.
The fly is done other than if you want to lacquer the heads, but sometimes I don't lacquer the heads.
Pull straight down.
And that's simply that fly is. And I'll tell you what, Pete, you can have that fly.
I will bring this with us when we go.
Guard that with your life.
We go trout fishing. I will bring this fly with us. I expect to catch a trout on that.
You will catch more than one.
I sure hope so.
So perhaps the skeptics among you are thinking, well, sure, that tie fly looks nice, but what can it really do? Coming up next, Tom demonstrates as he moves to the Loyal Hannah Creek to fish for trout.
Call Gary Simonetta Auto Body for expert collision repair, a CARSTAR certified repair facility offering a written warranty on all collision repairs. With state-of-the-art equipment and ICAR and ASE certified technicians, you can be sure your car will look as good as new. Specializing in unibody repairs, color matching, glass replacement, and insurance work on all makes and models of cars. Centrally located off Route 48 at 601 Eden Park Boulevard in McKeesport. Call 751-8844.
Bergey's is the area's #1 archery pro shop in sales, service, and warranty repair. Bergey's Archery sells and services bows by Hoyt Easton, High Country, PSE, Golden Eagle, Proline, Oregon, Yamaha, and Pearson. You can try before you buy on our indoor range. We also stock Rocky boots and shoes. Located just off Route 51, 10 miles south of Interstate 70. Call 412-677-4752.
We dare to go where no marina has gone before. Keith's Mobile Marine introduces Main Base 1, located at 2901 Neville Road, Pittsburgh, PA 15225, right on Neville Island. Our new telephone number is 412-331-8222. Staffed with a 24-hour answering crew, 2 full-time mechanics, and of course our mobile unit. We come to you, our customers, prepared to meet the demands of this boating season.
Not ones to leave any story unfinished, Tom now joins our in-house fishing specialist, Fred Wehagen, who each month brings us his segment of On the Water with Fred. Today, the two gentlemen go fly fishing on the Loyal Hannah Creek, fishing for trout. That's right, you heard me correctly, even though trout season is a full 2 weeks away. There are some spots, such as at the Loyal Hannah Creek, where you can fish for trout year-round, thanks in part to a catch and release rule that requires fishermen to throw back each and every catch they make. So you might say, well, what's the purpose? You'll find out as Tom goes on the water with Fred.
Today, we'll be fishing on the water with Tom Pellis. Tom has invented a fly that he assures us we're going to catch fish with today. How'd you come about that, Tom?
That fly was just sort of tied by accident one time, fishing up at my camp night before opening day. I was just sitting there tying some flies and tied that fly up and just decided to use some different materials and ended up it caught 17 fish the next day, and ever since that it's been a really good fly.
It's an old standby then, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
a lot of people use it in this area, and hopefully it'll work for us today.
Well, we're going to give it a good try anyway.
Fred, this lower section of the creek here, kind of a nice hole there on the bend of the creek, you know, and there's usually a lot of fish hang out in that area.
All right.
So I think we ought to just go down there and give it a try there first.
Okay, that sounds great.
The whole creek is good. There are fish just about everywhere right now. I think we'll...
Well, maybe we should point out that this is strictly a fish for fun section.
Yeah, this they call a delayed harvest area.
Right.
You're not allowed to kill any fish in here now, and not allowed to kill any till it's either June 14th or 15th.
Okay.
And then you're only allowed to keep 3. So
Oh, that's
it means,
good.
There's good fishing here just about all year long. There are holdovers here. Now, this creek has recently been stocked by some clubs and the Fish Commission. The local chapter of Trout Unlimited stocks this with, they raise money in different ways to stock them for large trout.
Oh, that's a good system too, yeah.
It's very good, and they've just recently put in some pretty good sized fish. I'm talking fish 18 to 20 inches.
Oh, they're nice
And
fish.
I think there are even maybe some larger than that in here. So we have a chance of tying in something big today.
That'll be great.
I've tied on Pellis muskrat.
That's what I have on too, Tom. I'm going to start with
Well,
that.
we should do okay with those. I noticed the water is kind of clear. You know, it's not real clear, but it's on the low side for this time of year.
Yeah, I kind of thought we'd find a high, muddy torrent up here today.
I think the rain was far enough away that
Apparently
it's
it was,
had
yeah.
time to go down. I think we cut through here, get right to this corner.
Reloaders Outlet is Pittsburgh's fastest growing shooting shop. Volume discounts on bulk pistol and rifle brass, bullets and primers. 9 different types of Winchester surplus gunpowder starting at $3 per pound. A full line of pistols and rifles from the Springfield Armory, stock or full-blown comp guns. Other guns available, both new and used. Reloaders Outlet, home of Spa Ammunition. Speed, power, and accuracy for your competition, hunting, and target needs at affordable prices. Stop in and see us at 108 Nelbon Avenue, Penn Hills, just off Frankstown Road, or call 247-0307.
Hi, I'm comedian David Kay. Did you know that TV is the world's most powerful tool of communication? Advertising your product or service on television can make your ad dollar go farther and your business go wild. And that's no joke. For details on commercial advertising, call John McKee Productions at 412-664-7583 before your competition does.
As Tom and I get into the water and try to get set up, Tom is tied on the Pellis fly. I'm tying on a new leader, and Tom suggested I try the hare's ear. I've caught fish on this pattern before, but not this early in the season. The water is clear, and the creek is at a great level. You can look at Tom and see how intent he is. But what fly fisherman isn't? It's just a great day to be on the water with a great fishing buddy. We've changed patterns several times now, but it's been in vain. There you go. Tom has caught a nice rainbow. Everything he catches, he says, is on the Pellis fly. I haven't fished with many guys who will tell you what they are really using until the end of the day. Come on, Tom. What are you trying to make me look bad? That's number 2, another rainbow. I'm just glad to see someone catching some fish.
Green weenie. Thought you tried that down here, Fred. Another rainbow. I want to catch that palomino in there for Pete to show him that that is a fish and not a rock.
That takes the wind out of my sails as Tom lands his 3rd rainbow. I'm just glad to see Tom so happy landing fish. But I'll be a lot happier if I could catch something. Well, Tom, sure didn't do too good today. I saw you catch 3 fish. Left me out in the cold here. Made me look bad. What was I doing wrong that you were doing right?
Oh, Fred, you can't feel bad on a day like today. The water temperature is really down and they're really not moving. So you just have to put it right on top of their nose. And if you don't catch fish on a day like today, you really can't feel bad at all. If you notice, there's some ice building up in the eyelets of the rod, so that gives you an indication of just how cold that water is. So you can't feel bad. Really, the only thing I would say that probably I just happened to put it right on their nose, and that's it.
With the spring now upon us, there are many fishing enthusiasts just like Tom and Fred who are getting excited about the upcoming trout season. However, there are other outdoor types not quite ready to let go of winter. They're the die-hard skiers you'll meet next at Hidden Valley.
From the copper kettles of Western Pennsylvania's only locally owned brewery comes a new kind of light beer, Stoney's Light. No sugar, no preservatives, no additives, just an all-natural, all-grain beer. Stoney's has been made by the people of Western Pennsylvania since 1907. Stoney's Light is the new generation of quality and pride. Try a Stoney's Light, made by Jones Brewing Company, Smithton, PA.
During this time of the year, many people still go to Hidden Valley to ski, and for the most part, on snow. However, you will soon find this is not always the case, because for 3 days in March, Hidden Valley's Winter Carnival replaces the traditional just get down to the bottom of the mountain attitude with an anything goes approach. To further illustrate, our final segment today shows you what happens when spring fever hits the slopes. A singing troubadour of the cowboy type and novice country western cloggers aren't the only unusual sights you'll find at Hidden Valley's Winter Carnival. For the winter setting now appears to be the perfect showplace for summer fashion. Here, short sleeves and shorts are in vogue, as are swimsuits. Speaking of which, ever consider a refreshing dip in the pond to get cooled off on a brisk winter's day? Of course, not everyone comes away as refreshed as others. Some actually perfect this sport of slosh jumping with relative ease. Perhaps the clothes have something to do with it. Or perhaps not. And as if this weren't enough of a challenge on skis, more daring hijinks prevail as snowboarders demonstrate the real way to hang 10. For obvious reasons, slosh jumping is not the sport of choice for all skiers, as there are still those who consider skiing a sport of dignity, grace, and beauty.
Well, I ain't gonna work on no railroad, no, inside, when we're playing inside, people like, sing along. Now we're outside today, and you can do that. You can dance too, And if you can't sing, sometimes you can clap your hands. Rolling in my sweet baby doll. Nice clogging. Rolling in my sweet baby doll. I'm only round the shack till the man train come back. Rolling in my sweet baby doll. Roll, yeah, roll. Well, my mama, she was a beauty operator. My sister, yeah, she'd sit and spin. And my daddy had a still in an old cotton gin. Yeah, we just watched all that money come rolling in. And I was, rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Yeah. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Yeah, I'm gonna lay around the shack. Hear the mail train come back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna lay around the shack. Hear the mail train come back. Rolling in my sweet babies. Rolling in my sweet babies. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Yeah.
The area's newest Shoals builder is an old friend. Pellets Construction has been building exquisite custom homes for nearly a quarter century. We know that it takes more than talent and fine materials to fashion a home that is a clear reflection of your lifestyle. It takes absolute attention to you and your ideas. We give our customers this attention, and Shoals offers over 200 state-of-the-art designs. Pellets Construction, Shoals Design, and your aspirations are all it takes to make your dream home a reality.
Attention boaters, stop in at ACC Marine Center and check out our full line of fishing and pleasure boats, featuring Mariner outboards and Mariner high-performance products, fishing boats by Starcraft and Monarch, Great Lakes boats like Kobe Robalo, as well as Seabold high-performance power boats, located at 4750 Rod 8 in Allison Park, just 1 mile south of Turnpike Exit 4. Call 412-486-2101.
While you won't find torchlight parades or slosh jumping events every day at Hidden Valley, what you can expect to find, at least from now through the end of April, is more spring skiing, as the resort plans to keep their slopes open for at least another month. That is our show for today. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, you can contact us by writing to MWM Productions, Post Office Box 596, McKeesport, Pennsylvania. The zip code is 15134. On behalf of the entire staff that's worked to bring you this edition of the Western Pennsylvania Outdoor Guide, I'm Heidi Rinkus, and I thank you for joining us.